I, Uhuru Kenyatta, I assume as President of the Republic of Kenya.
I, William Samoei Ruto.
President Kenyatta's second term has begun in earnest with his oath. The next 5 years, what will most likely shape his legacy. But the president faces the daunting task of uniting a country already divided by deep suspicions after the prolonged campaigns and the repeat presidential election. Fully aware of the situation, President Kenyatta pledged that his government would unite the country and heal the deep divisions.
I ask you today to reject pessimism and cynicism in your thoughts and talk about Kenya. Instead, embrace the empowerment that comes from optimism and hope, even when times are tough. Whatever part of the country they come from, whichever way we may worship God, whatever language we speak, instead of division, I know that we can build a Kenya which prospers by rewarding hard work and leaving no one behind.
Even to those who did not vote for him, Kenyatta promised to provide leadership to them too.
We may have chosen different candidates and different visions, but each one of us voted for a better life.
Today is the culmination of elections that saw members of county assembly, members of parliament, members of Senate, our governors, and our president elected in many political parties. And today we celebrate the fact that we have the capacity to decide our destiny, elect our leaders, and choose our priorities as a nation of Kenya.
President Kenyatta further reached out to the opposition that has vowed that it will not recognize his government to join him in developing the country.
It is time for us as a people to learn that it is fine for us to agree to disagree while still strengthening our bonds of unity and nationhood. On my part, I have begun reaching out to all leaders across the political divide, restating my commitment and expressing my willingness to work with them to achieve this objective of nationhood.
This election was about issues that affect the people of Kenya. It was about infrastructure, the railway and roads. It was about the education of our children, the health of our citizens, and that marks the steady progress of Kenya to mature politics that is canvassed on the basis of issues that help change the destiny of our country.
The head of state underscoring the need for the country and its leadership to adhere to the rule of law if Kenya's democracy was to mature.
Our Constitution has created 3 independent but interdependent arms of government. In its spirit and letter, the Constitution has spelled out the functions of each of these arms, and there are no overlaps, no ambiguities in the execution of these roles. There is no gray area. Ni lazima kila mtu afanye kazi yake kulingana na katiba.
There cannot be meaningful development and stability and prosperity if there is no peace. There cannot be peace if there is no justice. And there cannot be justice without the rule of law and the respect of our Constitution. All of us are summoned to work together in that direction.
following NASA's criticism of the IEBC on the police service over its handling of demonstrators. The president had a word of caution.
We have learned that our institutions are far more resilient than we might have thought before. They needed to be tested for us to discover their strengths and weaknesses. And today, we are a people who can tell the world that we live under a robust constitutional order and that our constitution is no piece of paper.
Amongst the issues the president seeks to give priority in his second term is the universal health care coverage for all households in the country.
Some of you will recall, for example, Jackson Wamai, a 28-year-old teacher from Muranga, diagnosed with kidney failure and who once had to travel several hours to and from Nairobi for dialysis, threatening his livelihood. Today, it takes him 20 minutes to get a dialysis session in Muranga, and his job is secure. What's more, he doesn't have to pay for it. The NHIF covers it.
And with corruption having riddled his first term in office, Kenyatta has vowed to crack the whip on entrepreneurs and those seeking to sabotage the government's bid to serve Kenyans.
I want today to put the public service on notice. It is not going to be business as usual. I will not allow faceless bureaucrats and functionaries to deny the public the quality of service they deserve from their government.
In what will sure be good news to parents who had their children sitting for this year's KCPE, President Kenyatta has directed that the Form 1 placement be completed by Christmas. John Jacob Curia for Channel 1 News.